A quiet night in Balochistan, Pakistan, shattered by the roar of Iranian air raids. In the stillness of this southwestern province, a sudden burst of violence set off a chain reaction that threatens to pull Pakistan into a broader regional conflict. This unexpected aggression from Iran was aimed at the armed group Jaish al-Adl, also known as the Army of Justice. But the price of this assault was paid by the innocent. In the wake of the bombings, at least 2 children lost their lives, while 3 others were injured, according to a statement from the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs. With a strong note of condemnation, Pakistan decried this incident as a blatant violation of its sovereignty. A clear message was sent to Iran with the recall of Pakistan's ambassador from Tehran. This swift diplomatic response reveals the severity of the situation and Pakistan's determination to protect its territorial integrity. As dust from the bombing settles, Pakistan's vow to respond echoes across the region, signaling the beginning of a potentially wider conflict. In less than 24 hours, Pakistan responds, not with words, but with precise military strikes. The echo of Iran's air raids was still fresh when Pakistan launched a counter-offensive against armed groups on Iranian soil. This was a clear response to what Islamabad termed as impending large-scale terrorist activities from across the border. But the ripple of this action didn't stop at the Iran-Pakistan border. Iran immediately summoned the Pakistani diplomat in Tehran, seeking an explanation for the strikes. Pakistan, however, held its ground. It stated firmly that it respects Iran's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but will not compromise on its own security. Meanwhile, the international community watched the unfolding drama with bated breath. China, playing the role of a peace broker, offered to mediate between the 2 nations. The United States, on the other hand, condemned Iran's actions, while India considered it a matter between the 2 nations. The United Nations Secretary-General pleaded for maximum restraint to avoid further escalation. Experts, expressing their concern, warned that tensions may not be resolved through retaliation and a potential resurgence of militancy in the region could be on the horizon. As the smoke of retaliation clears, the international community watches on, concerned about the escalating tensions and the potential for a larger conflict. In the aftermath of the strikes, the silence is deafening and the future uncertain. As dust settles and tension hangs heavy in the air, Pakistan's caretaker Prime Minister, Anwar-ul-Haq Kakar, has called for a national security review. This meeting, set to take place among top civilian and military leaders, will be a crucial determinant of Pakistan's next steps in this escalating conflict. The strikes have not only strained relations between Iran and Pakistan, but have also stirred a hornet's nest that could lead to a potential resurgence of militancy in the region. The already volatile Balochistan, plagued by a long-standing uprising by Baloch rebels, may find itself once again in the throes of intensified conflict. Analysts warn that a military tit-for-tat between the 2 nations may not yield a resolution, but instead stoke the fires of militancy that both nations have been striving to extinguish. On the international front, the situation could push Pakistan towards seeking greater alignment with the United States, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. This realignment could drastically change the dynamics of the region, with potential ripple effects felt far beyond the borders of the 2 nations involved. Furthermore, the timing of the conflict has implications for the upcoming national elections in Pakistan. As over 60 countries, representing half the world population, gear up for a historic election year, Pakistan finds itself grappling with both internal and external conflict. The nation's handling of this crisis could significantly influence public sentiment and electoral outcomes, potentially reshaping the political landscape of the country. In the midst of the turmoil, the international community, including the United Nations and countries like China and India, have urged maximum restraint. The world is watching closely as Pakistan and Iran navigate this complex and precarious situation. As the world watches, the stakes are high. The decisions made now will not only shape the future of Pakistan and Iran, but potentially the geopolitical landscape of the entire region.